Welcome to the Alkalign Lifestyle School, where luxury meets transformation, empowering elite minds and bodies to thrive as their authentic self. I'm your host and guide, Fidelis Noka II. Today, we're diving into the enteric nervous system and how this first brain actually controls and dictates the majority of your life. All right, let's dive right in. So, first off, let's talk about the makeup of the enteric nervous system and what it actually does. So your enteric nervous system, this is what people kind of have not a foreign perspective on, but they don't know enough about this system. That's why they don't treat it as a priority. But I'm gonna tell you today that this is what's deciding whether you're happy or sad, whether you're rich or you're poor, whether you're magnetic or attractive or not. And basically it decides your frequency, your vibration, and just how your life is out today, how your life is working today is based upon this enteric nervous system. So it's broken into two parts. What this system does is this system is responsible for the autonomic nervous system. Now you've known that people suffer from too much stress in their daily life. But what happens as a result of this stress, what you need to know more of and more about, and where is this thing located? This nervous system is located primarily in the gut and the gastrointestinal tract. So this is in response mainly to what you consume, mainly to what you eat, mainly to what you drink, but not limited to what you think. So your ANS system, autonomic nervous system, this is what regulates basically growth or repair or fight or flight response. You have two sections of this ANS system: sympathetic, which is going to be your fight or flight, and you have the parasympathetic, which is going to be relax and repair. So what you're going to understand after this video is that your cells can only be in one or the other. They cannot be in both at the same time. So people do this daily, where they basically push on the gas of their vessel. Let's say you're a sports car and you're walking through life, or driving through life, walking through life, but you're pushing on the gas to be able to move yourself forward. What happens is people's perceptions, beliefs, their patterns of thought are pushing on the brake at the same time as pushing on the gas. So what is that doing? It's basically grinding you to a halt. And so what you're not understanding is that sympathetic fight or flight is a stress response, but you can't be in growth or repair, parasympathetic, if you already chose this one based on the fear base. So what happens is this is like living from the outside. When you're living from the outside, you're living in reaction. You're living in a reactionary mode for everything that comes to you from the outside. And if you're living on the inside, which is the complete opposite, which is basically, it's a source of creation. It says, I'm living from the inside perspective. I'm living as the creator of my life, not a victim in response of my life. This is a completely different thing. So if I'm in creation, I can create growth and repair. I can create what I desire to have in my lifetime. But if I'm in reaction, I have to respond to what's coming to me. So these two systems are what control essentially sneezing, flickering of your eyes, involuntary muscle contractions, just, any sort of behavior, movement of your body is controlled from this ANS system and enteric nervous system. But the main thing that this controls is what's called peristalsis. Peristalsis, what is peristalsis? This is what they call the automatic wave-like movement of the muscles that line your gastrointestinal tract. Listen up. When you eat something, you have like a conveyor belt. Kind of like whenever you go into a grocery store and you're ready to check out, and you put your groceries on the belt, and the belt's just going and going to you're next in line, and it's going to the cashier, and then they pick it up, and then they scan it, and then, okay, bam, check, this much, pay for it, then you're out. It's just like this system. This system is a whole lineup of things that occur when you consume something that allow you to digest your food and take in the energy from that thing. And then it creates a response based on what you put in. This is the part that I believe is not talked about enough. What you put in creates a response. You do something as a result of what you've eaten or what you've drank or what you're thinking is now going to be in response to the cause that you just put in. This is where, if you're not understanding waves, okay, you're not knowing that you're energy waves. This wave-like movement pattern can be disrupted just based upon your vibration, your sound. So what peristalsis does is it moves food through your digestive system. It begins in your throat, in the esophagus area, goes all the way down whenever you swallow, continuing through the esophagus to the stomach and then the intestines while you digest, then out the anus into the toilet. That's it, bam. You put it in, you drank it, and then separated it, got it to the kidneys, all right, or got it to the large intestine, and put it out as waste, got into the toilet. When you eat anything, you're supposed to have a bowel movement daily. You should have a bowel movement daily. If you eat daily, you're supposed to have a bowel movement daily. Whatever you eat needs to come out the opposite side. If it goes up in this side, come out the opposite side. That's how it is. So if you're not checking your poop daily, you also have a problem. Because baby people don't poop at all. For days and days, they don't poop. And so obviously you're not healthy. But this is not controlled by the conscious mind. This is controlled by the subconscious mind. So your autonomic nervous system is controlled by the subconscious mind. What is the subconscious mind? The subconscious mind is your habit mind. Your habit mind, 95% of your life is controlled by your habit mind. We'll dive deeper into this in a few. Let's get back to sympathetic and parasympathetic. If you're looking at your life from the outside in response to life, you can't control anything about life. All you can control is your response to it. So if you don't control your response to life and make it a positive response, make it a wonderful, optimistic, enlightening response, you're going to suffer because of that response based upon your perceptions and your beliefs. So this directly is going to affect if you're taking in energy or not, regulating your temperature or not, right? How you're moving, how you're walking, what your gait is. Gait, G-A-I-T, not G-A-T-E. Your gait, how you're walking, your posture. You know, if you have pain, if you're releasing chemicals that are causing you to be in inflammatory responses. This is all based upon your subconscious mind that you don't actually have any direct access when you're awake consciously. So if you're in relax and repair, which is looking from the inside out, looking from the inside out says, I'm creating my world, how I want to create my world. Because I can view my world how I want to view my world. I can be as delusional as possible. I can think as delusional, as crazy as I want, think as positive as I want, no matter who's around me with destructive interference. I can focus my intention and keep myself at the higher point in life, no matter what. You have to make a decision consciously to do that. Because this enteric nervous system, which is controlling all these functions that are behind the scenes, in the enteric nervous system, you have about 200 million, 600 million neurons in this system of the gut. Your gut's responsible for about 90% of serotonin that's also secreted inside your body. And it secretes 400 times more melatonin than the CNS, than your pineal gland. This is like go into an electric car with no driver. Like we have Waymo out here in LA. No driver. There's no driver. All they have is just sensors all over. One on top of the car, one on the side, two on the sides of the car, on each side. They have one in the front. They have sensors inside the back. The sensors that you have that occur in your hands, that occur in your taste, in your tongue, in your ears, okay, in your nostrils, in your smell, all right, and even in your feet. Your the sensors, the environment is shaping how this system is responding. It's the environment. It's shaped based upon the environment. So the enteric nervous system is basically controlled by the environment. And what comes in through the environment is controlled by your perception, controlled by your belief. You can believe you have the greatest day. You can believe that you have everything happening for you, transformational change, something positive occurring. Or you can believe that everything is awful, my world is falling, and it's over with, my life is over, or whatever. People who do the overly dramatic stuff. You gotta pick one. You're just choosing a side. So if you understand that your subconscious mind cannot be accessed, literally, by the conscious mind, it can't be accessed when you're conscious of something. Positive thinking, you can say, I can consciously do that. But that's 5% of your entire day, because conscious mind and subconscious mind work in 5% conscious, 95% subconscious. So 95% is controlled by enteric nervous system. So the ANS system, all right? The ANS system works in response to gauges. Gauges of what? Gauges of emotion. Gauges of your actual emotion. Let's look at your vessel like an actual sports car. So let's say you have a pressure gauge inside of your car, all right? If the pressure is going up inside of your car, you have to release the pressure somehow. People struggle with high blood pressure today. Mainly that's a cause of nutritional deficiency, mainly magnesium-based, but it's also in response to their perceptions based upon stress. And let me explain. So pressure is formed. You have good stress, like eustress, like you're exercising, okay? If you go to the gym and pick up something that's heavier, right? That's a good stress on your body. That's helping you to activate your system. It's helping you to activate the energy in your system. It's helping you to basically facilitate movement by muscle contraction. That's a good stress, exercise, all right? But then say you have a bad stress, like a problem, something that's arisen that you believe is a problem that you can't see or perceive as a good thing because you're perceiving it incorrectly. You're perceiving it as it's happening to you, not happening for you. Well, that's a bad stress. And that stress that's causing you to think based upon your emotion, causing you to waste up your energy. So that stress is causing your pressure to go up. You can see people hold tension inside their head. People they start rubbing their temples here and they're just doing this all day long. Yes, it could be a system of dehydration because people who use too much water from thinking and concentrating all day long, or they're just holding in tension and pressure and stress inside their head. You know why? You're trying to control an outcome that you got no business thinking about in the first place. Let it go. That's the main thing that people have a problem with in this day and age. Just let it go. Next up on these gauges is the gauge of energy. And this is where you don't go to the doctor for, because the doctors don't tell you about energy. They basically tell you about medicine. They don't sell energy, they sell medicine. But you're controlled by energy, not medicine. So what controls your energy is your capacity for love or the capacity for fear. Whichever one that you're being governed by, being led by, that's controlling how much energy that you have inside of your body. Because if you have a lack of expression, if you have repression or suppression, especially sexual energy, If you have sexual repression and suppression, it's because it's coming from the outside that's telling you to shrink, and repression from the inside that's telling you to shrink and not express yourself. Now, this is going to be a direct result of you having fear of the outside, of the outer world. You're afraid what people think about you. And so because you're afraid what people think about you, and you're afraid to disappoint everyone around you, instead of making yourself happy, instead of pleasing yourself, you're afraid to do the things that society says are incorrect. And because of that, you have a lack of energy. That's your second gauge. Now, your third gauge, temperature. Your body temperature is at a consistent 98.6 degrees. That's pretty much what the optimal temperature for you to have not only a healthy life, but for you to have optimal symptom functions inside your body, 98.6 degrees. But what happens when your body gets way too hot? What happens when you get way too hot? How are you supposed to cool yourself off? Well, whenever you get red hot, it's mainly because you're angry. Now, why are you angry? We can look at it based off perception and what you believe. Based upon what you believe about a situation, you're either going to take it as it's a positive situation or a negative one. And if you're in a response to it's a negative one, if it's a negative one towards you, you're going to be angry. You're not going to want to participate in this. You're not going to want to accept or surrender to the actual situation that's occurring inside your life because you're angry. You need it to change right now because you said that. It needs to change right now. Now it needs to be the way I designed it to be, and or else it's not going to be right. That's not it. You got to let things go. And so by you letting it go, you all of a sudden can bring the temperature back. Now, say you go into like a detox or a cleanse, right? When you're cleansing your cells, especially because this is what cleansing does. It cleanses your cells at a cellular perspective. When you're going through a cleansing process, you are going to have these fluctuations, all right, in your temperature. You're gonna maybe, when you go through a detox process, which is more intense form of cleansing, a detox is gonna be where you're really gonna start to see all the negatives, all the chemicals, all the bad toxins go back into your bloodstream because they have to get flushed out. On the way out, they're going to affect you because they have to be flushed out. Meaning all of a sudden, the things that you had stored and locked away in this enteric nervous system, like a library of emotion, thoughts, feelings, and emotion, locked inside of this system, all throughout here. Because that's why you call it gut feelings. They're all locked inside of your gut. Once you start to detoxify this process, it all rushes back inside and you can potentially get a fever, maybe diarrhea, maybe some sort of, healing crisis that you're going through. Up to about 105 degrees, your fever is allowed to stay active inside of you. What it's doing is it's killing everything inside of you based on raising the temperature. Your body's doing that. That's a system that's been developed after millions and millions of years. So when somebody tells you to break your fever, that's incorrect. What you should do is go in there, wrap yourself up, and heat yourself up and help the body disperse of the toxins and get it out of your system. That's what you do. So you don't get scared, you don't get afraid to clean and cleanse yourself. On the contrary, you help your body help you. Those are the gauges. Now, what is it that these gauges have in connection with the ANS? Everything. Because if you're stressed, you're going to be in sympathetic fight or flight. And this is because I'm talking about bad stress. If you're stressed based upon the way you're thinking or perceiving something that's happening to you, you're in bad stress, sympathetic. But when you're relaxed, when all of a sudden you're relaxed, that pressure falls away. You're just flowing, you're just in the zone, right? The entire time. You're in parasympathetic. This is how you're basically going towards growth and repair. You cannot be in a system of growth and a system of breakdown at the same time. Your blood can only do what you instruct your blood to do for you. If you are expecting it to go towards fight or flight, to go to rush to your arms and legs to get you out of a situation or to get you to safety, it's going to go there and stop the functions in the background that it was doing prior, because you sent it there, because you needed it to be prioritized there, because you were being, chased by a lion or something like that. You had to get all of your energy to rush to your functions to get you out of there. But what if you're actually not even being chased by a lion? You're just going around your spouse, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, your husband, or your wife, and they made you angry this morning, or they made you mad this evening, or you're looking at them as they're the source of evil in your entire life. Like they're the ones that are, bringing you down, and in some cases this can be true based upon entanglement, but you still have the ability to change the way that you're perceiving things. If you don't change the way you're perceiving things, obviously you're going to have a response that's going to be a negative response. It's based upon you. So again, your pressure is a direct connection to your ANS system, your energy. Sexual repression, sexual suppression is a main cause of a lack of energy. Orgastic potency, I talked about this in a previous video. Orgastic potency is basically what you call a human being's capacity to receive the excitation of the climax of a sexual act, basically an orgasm. So how willing and able you are to surrender to the actual moment and not be so tense and not be so hung up on something, or lack of being present. If you can find a way to love yourself and allow yourself to receive the present moment, this is where your energy starts to get charged back up. You're taking it too serious. Life is not that serious, but you're making it that serious. I don't have any money. I don't have any love. Nobody wants me. I don't have a house. I don't have the assets. I don't have the business that I want. I have this, and you just keep on stating all these things that you're basically ungrateful for. But you're still here. The opportunity to make it, to change it. You haven't done that because your focus, your attention, your energy is literally flowing where your attention is going. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere towards anything positive. So all of a sudden, your energy is low because you'd rather be in fear than be in love, the capacity to love, to receive that orgastic potency and that orgasmic experience from the energies all around you at every moment in time, point in space. So people do it in like a rebellious way where you'll see women do it and men do it, where they just think that in order for me to get freedom, I have to just rebel against everything. And you can do that. Yeah, how long you would last, I'm not going to tell you because that's between you and you. But what I'm saying is there's a way for you to do it in unison with what actually is going on and still being able to change everything. All you have to do is focus on orgastic potency and sexual potency because everything around you is a positive or a negative, flowing and fluctuating all around you at every moment in time. Everything is spinning. All atoms are spinning at every moment in time. And all atoms are spinning at every moment in time. It includes your cells, it includes you. So that's why it's called the vortex. You're allowed to come into your vortex because you're spinning. You just can't see it like that. But you can feel it. 100% you can feel it. So, lastly, the temperature, whether you're angry, whether you're calm. When I'm calm, it's because I'm creating. Parasympathetic, I'm in my inside. I'm using the system on the inside. I'm thinking of things for a new perception, a new perspective from the inside. And when I'm not, I'm angry because on the outside, life isn't happening the way I want it to happen. And if it's not happening the way I want it to happen, I'm not happy. I'm angry. Now you're in sympathetic on the outside, fight or flight. So just because people, what they do, they say, my blood pressure is high. And then they go to the doctor. And the doctor gives them a prescription that prescribes them this thing that then does what? It does this. It masks the gauges. So now you can't even see anything. You can't feel anything because you went to the doctor to go get a prescription that now took you away from your actual self. Now you can't feel. This is about subtle energy. Subtle energy is going to tell you that the pressure gauge is telling you your pressure is high. Something is wrong with your perception. You need to change it. Your energy gauge, my energy is low. I don't know why I don't have any energy. I'm gonna go drink some coffee. I'm gonna go get 5-hour energy. I'm gonna drink an energy drink. I'm gonna do something from the outside, even though all I have to do is allow myself to feel the present moment, and I get all my energy back. It's free. And literally, temperature, angry, calm. You literally are going to the doctor, wondering why you're so agitated, wondering why I can't balance myself through life, and maybe I'm bipolar, or maybe I'm depressed, or maybe, okay, how about we look at this from a chemical perspective? Back to the enteric nervous system. What are you actually putting inside your system? Because everything that you put inside your system is gonna have a response to what you're putting in. On a chemical, all right, on a physical, on an emotional level, you're going to have a response based on what's going in. Now, your enteric nervous system, let's define this as a system of 12, because we're going to call this the solar plexus. The solar plexus that is defined by a system of 12. 12 what? 12 cranial nerves that are attached in this gut system area. 12 cranial nerves that control your body's 12 systems that are attached to the 12 signs of the zodiac. You can think of it as 12 months of the year. All right? Each month is a certain specific sign of the zodiac. Each sign of the zodiac has a specific cell salt attached to it. The cell salt that's developed inside of the solar plexus. You need to have all 12. You stay in your mother's womb for 9 months, meaning you only get 9 of them. You have to go on the outside and find the other 3. But now let's just say, all right, let's just say that you literally just got off of, you just got in, right, from a trip. You decided to go to a bar, what they call sad hour. People call it happy hour. I call it sad hour. I'll explain why it's called wine and spirits in a moment. But you went to the bar, you got some alcohol, you got a drink. As soon as you took a drink, what happens? You all of a sudden, you get a little bit dizzy. You kind of can't see. You kind of can't really hear. The room starts spinning a little bit. What's going on? You took in poison into the solar plexus that hit your enteric nervous system. All of a sudden, you're feeling a little bit off. Why? That poison affected all 12 systems at the same exact time once you took it inside. You ate fast food. Garbage food. I'm talking about food that isn't really food. You went, you got a hamburger laced with MSG and all these different additives inside of it, and you took it in. All of a sudden, your belly started hurting, and then your mind just started to get kind of like jumbled up, and your thought process was kind of skewed, and you're like, I don't know, and you start doing, because your stomach was hurting. Again, it affected the 12 cranial nerves in your solar plexus. Immediately, what happens to you based on patterning is that system of peristalsis, which is supposed to control this coming into here, coming into there, going to there, dispersing from here to here, and then getting out and exiting. It's non-existent. It doesn't work. So all of a sudden you have the adrenal gland inside your head, the HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary adrenal axis. What's going on here? This is the CNS that's actually detached, but it's attached from that GI tract. That GI tract, gastrointestinal tract, that's going in from here to here, it's like a gut-brain connection. So this gut-brain connection is now telling you, I have some alcohol. Now I'm in stress. I'm in fight or flight. But you perceived it as it was something that was wonderful, right? Yeah, it's wine and spirits, right? The reason why they call it wine and spirits is because you can look at all these ancient times back in the day. People who went to go celebratory and they went to go celebrate they drank. Alcohol was a big thing because it's like you got to release yourself from daily life. You got to release yourself from the stresses of daily life. You got to just go in there, take a drink, and then as people say, they got to be themselves. So they took them to go poison themselves in order to be themselves. So now you're calling it spirits, because the only way that you can go to be yourself, your true authentic divine self, is to go have a drink of alcohol. There you go with your wine and spirits. So then you're attaching that to a system of celebration. Is it really celebration? No. It's no celebration in any of that. Celebrate where? You can't celebrate anything like that. You're so far on the outside that you don't even know how far you really are. So no, there's no celebration. Nothing to celebrate at all. So your 12 cranial nerves are jacked up. And all of a sudden, the subconscious mind, which is what's controlling everything in the background, because you're either in fight or flight, or you're either in rest and repair. This is what's controlling the projection of what's the hologram that's going outside that you're actually living through at this moment in time. Yes, you're in a holographic perspective. You're in a holographic principle. You can call it 3 dimensions, 3D, which is basically like a video game. You're playing this video game as yourself, like a Sims character, and you're walking through a 2D, and you're changing the colors, and you're changing the angles, and you're changing the shapes, and you're changing the reflections, and now it looks like 3D. That's it. That's all it is. You gotta get into a higher realm. But how can you get into a higher realm? You can't get to a higher realm when you have a lower realm in here. You can't get past this area right here. The energy has to get past this area and then come out this way. But you're stuck in this area right here. So the enteric nervous system, right, is affecting what's called the HPAA axis. The HPAA axis is essentially your feedback mechanism. So hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal axis. Your pituitary is basically your crown, the system of function that's controlling everything that's being secreted inside of you. So your hormonals, the flow of what's coming out is coming out because of your perception from what you put in. So the surrounding area that's going into your gut, the environment that's going into your gut, this is what's causing your crown to magnetize and draw in experiences based upon how you're feeling, because it's controlled by your feeling. Pituitary is controlled mainly by the feeling. Your pineal is responsible for electricity. Your thought sends the signal out, but the pituitary, the feeling, draws that situation back into you. So here's where this goes, and this says conscious, subconscious. I consciously wanted to do something. All right, like I consciously wanted to go to create this life of mine, and I'm wondering why it's not happening. Are you doing anything? Probably not. You're probably not doing anything to make it happen, but you don't know why you're not doing anything to make it happen. It's based upon the habits that you have created. The habits are stuck inside the enteric nervous system, the subconscious mind. Do you not realize that whenever you get sad, there's a certain specific meal that you go to, a drink that you drink? If your parents were fighting, if your spouse was arguing with you, if your kids were bothering you, if you were a professional athlete and your team was losing, you were drinking or something, right? If you're a celebrity and you couldn't go outside, you couldn't go do regular things because you were so big and prosperous and everybody knew who you were that you had to hide yourself and have security all over the place, and you just couldn't be accepted by society because your mind was so jacked up all the time. Right? You're a C-level executive. You have a large corporation. You're like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos in Amazon. You've got billions of dollars. You're responsible for billions of people and their jobs. You're always sitting here attached to so many different people all the time, and you're wondering, why is all this happening to me all the time? And keep going. Entrepreneur, small business. Oh, nobody's coming. Nobody's buying from me. All types of things are feedback mechanism. You can either look at it from a positive or from a negative, because the feedback is going to influence what's coming back to you. And this feedback is directly affected chemically by what goes into your enteric nervous system. This is why I call it the first brain. I call it the first brain because it's the feeling place. It's feeling. So my processor right here is taking in my sensory environment. My hands, my ears, my nose, my feet, taste, touch, smell, hear, all your senses. My mouth, my tongue. Whatever I get in all these things that are coming in, my cells are being controlled by my environment. So if I'm looking at this from a direct thing, wouldn't you think that you want to have the best diet, the best food, the best water, the best drink, right? You want to have the best. If you don't have the best, you're going to have a response that's not going to be your best. So ultimately, the HPAA axis is what's determining if you have the sympathetic or parasympathetic. Which system of the ANS is being activated at this moment in time? Fight or flight or growth and repair. And if you go to the medication masks the gauges for you to tell you what you need. Your body's a genius mechanism that was created by something that's higher than you. Higher than you. So your higher self, which is the one mind that we're all connected to. There's no reason for us to think that we're smarter than what created us. That's foolishness. So ultimately, your enteric nervous system, we'll sum this up. 12 cranial nerves. It's called the solar plexus area. Subconscious mind. 95% of your life, of your daily life, is controlled by your subconscious mind, your enteric nervous system, which also controls your autonomic nervous system, which is broken up into two parts: sympathetic, fight or flight, parasympathetic, which is growth and repair. It controls things like sneezing, involuntary muscle contractions, or peristalsis, which is essentially digestion of your food. When you go in to go to the doctor to take medication, medication masks the gauges, the natural gauges that you have with your pressure, blood pressure, all right, your energy, your vitality, and your body temperature. Your blood pressure is also determined by the stress that you accumulate. Your energy is controlled by sexual potency and orgasmic potency, and your temperature is also controlled based upon your mood, your attitude. How you are perceiving life is a direct effect on your enteric nervous system and your CNS, central nervous system. It's essentially the biology of belief. And one more tip is it has more neurons than your spinal cord. 200 million to 600 million neurons located inside of your gut. Your gut is important. I would suggest that you take care of your food. I would suggest that if you have all the money that you have, if you're as successful as you are, there's no reason for you not to live intentionally. So why not preserve yourself in a way where you're elite? You don't go in as a billionaire to go eat a fast food hamburger. There's no point in you doing that. If you're a professional athlete, there's no reason why you should not be in plant-based, the whole food, restaurant, get something to eat. It doesn't make sense. It's not that you don't have the resources to do it, it's that you don't have the knowledge of why you should do it, because your energy is going to be low. You can go to an acidic lifestyle or an alkalized lifestyle. Which one do you want? You can have misaligned chakras or aligned chakras. Which one do you want? You should want to have both. You want to have alkalinity and alignment, where you have a pH that's at the normal 7.35 to 7.55 alkalized, and you should have an alignment in all 9 of the centers of energy in your chakra wheels. If you don't have that, there's no way for you to actually be in homeostasis. There's no way for you to actually receive what you're supposed to receive from the field, in terms of the information that's inside the field. You're making everything up based upon your inside. And your inside's incorrect. You're living for the outside instead of living for the inside. Live for the inside. You can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you want. Do whatever you want, however you want. But you go into the process and you do it, take care of yourself in that regard. But you have to look at yourself as an elite. There's no reason for you to think of yourself as a peasant in this world, as a victim in this world. That's not it. So, this video helped you guys. Like it, share it, subscribe. We usually put out 2 videos a week, every Monday, every Wednesday. Every day we have a short that comes out. So subscribe, check us out. Click the link in my description. You guys can join my Become More Alkalign Challenge. I have it at the end of every month. And I offer 2 herbal cleansing formulas, Awaken and Replenish, that will cleanse your cells, replenish your cells after they cleanse your cells, give you a brand new program and detoxification programs. I have a chakra detox program and a generational health program, both of which will help you to change your entire life by changing your entire energy state of mind. So if you're interested, click the link in my description below. And until next time, peace.